There's a moment in every man's life where he has to decide, am I going to stay the same or am I going to become the man I was meant to be? So this episode isn't about hype, it's about your legacy. So confidence isn't something that you gain, it's something that you become. So I've talked before, you were a confident child, you learned how to walk, all the stuff you learned as a child, and then life beat that confidence out of you. So you're not trying to learn confidence, you're trying to become confident again. And there's a few different ways that you can do that. So the first thing I want to talk about is why most men lose progress. And it's because they collect skills and tactics. Whenever I was teaching martial arts, way back at the start, everybody wanted to learn every move because the internet had just sort of, that's how old I am, the internet had just sort of come about. People could Google jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, MMA, Kung Fu. They could Google it and see all this cool stuff. And this is before we understood that a lot of what's on the internet is actual bullshit. So people would come to me and like I remember a short guy wanting to learn moves that he's seen like Anderson Silva do. Anderson Silva was about twice the height of him, so what he wanted to do, he wanted to emulate a completely different body structure and style to what he could do himself. I had people that only wanted to learn Wing Chun because they knew it was the superior art and every other system was terrible. Ones that just wanted to do jiu-jitsu instead of wrestling because of the same reasons. So they were gathering tactics, they were gathering skills. We used to just call them move collectors. They were just ticking a box. So I know that move and I know that move. I remember grappling with a guy and I just learned a guillotine choke, like a nice one. And I probably did it in 3 minutes. I probably choked him and made him tap out about 12 times. And he was really annoyed that I just kept using the same move. He actually said, "You're shit at this. All you're doing is the same move over and over again." And I was trying to explain that like it's a Bruce Lee philosophy. It's not remotely mine. But the moves that I learn, I want to collect moves that my body's capable of doing, that I enjoy doing, that actually work. So then I would just drill that over and over again. And my actual thoughts were, if I'm able to get you 12 times in a row with the exact same move, then it's your awareness that's the problem. But that was an argument that just wasn't going to happen, so it didn't matter. I just continued choking him out until he eventually just went home. Uh, so most men, they don't see themselves as who they are capable of being. They see who they are or who they've been told that they are. So then you happen to look up to people, you emulate people that you think have the success that you want, have the confidence that you want. And because you do that, your self-awareness diminishes and you end up not becoming the man you're capable of becoming because you're trying to be someone else, you're trying to be like someone else. So what you want to be doing instead of collecting tactics and moves and techniques and books is shifting your identity. So rather than going, right, now I am a confident person, you're probably not going to believe that. If you shift into, I'm someone that's becoming confident, that's an identity that you can work with and progress with. So think about the way that you're living your life. Are you living your life emulating other people or being self-aware enough to go, right, this is why I've lost progress in the past. I've joined the gym. I've looked at people that are 5 years ahead of me and thought, oh, I'll never be like that, so I just didn't bother. Or are you someone that joins the gym, looks at the people 5 years ahead of you and thinks, in 5 years, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I will end up somewhere like that. So question that, ask yourself, like, what is your identity? Does your identity match your vision? So if you want to be confident, but you identify as an unconfident person rather than someone who's working on their confidence, you're going to end up sabotaging both. So look at your identity and then ask yourself, does that link to the vision that I actually have for myself? So one of the ways we do this is the future self practice. So you visualize the version of you that you want to be. So if you're someone that wants to develop more confidence, wants to be more of a leader, then you visualize that version of you. So when I worked in the martial arts clubs, I used to look at other instructors and take what I liked from their training and their teaching and said, right, that's the version I want to be. I want to take in this and take in that and use that to get my message across, but using the skill set that I already had. I wasn't going to try to be that person. I was going to try to be me, but take on all of the techniques and the useful things that I could see that they were doing. So I could visualize that and see that. So my future self was locked in. I knew what it looked like. If you ask me who I'm going to be, if you come to me now and ask me where I see myself in 5 years, I will be able to tell you. So I lock that in, and then when I'm learning a new skill or trying to develop something, I speak to that version of myself rather than the version of me now. The way to look at it is, if you're here and then you think of the version that you want to become, you can slowly catch up with that. And then once you get there, you go higher again, and you just constantly keep building a better version of yourself. And that's the easiest way to demonstrate it. So whenever you're thinking about that, you're not living based on who you are now. You're living based on who you're going to become. And the more you do that, the faster you actually become that version of yourself. So think about who you want to become and then start to future pace that. And then the last thing is the warrior's code. So this is the warrior's path. So you have to have codes, and if you have a code and you have a belief and you have a brotherhood that you connect with, you're more likely to succeed. So I just wrote down here, masculine power comes from internal alignment. So it doesn't come from projecting like I am this masculine person. It comes from internally being self-aware and visualizing who I want to become, and then that strength and wisdom and confidence is actually real now. It's not, we'll go back to if you're not confident but you want to be, rather than you having to fake it, you make it, or pretend that you're confident, you actually believe that you're working towards confidence. So then you're not lying to yourself, you're not lying to the external world. So your mind, your body, your spirit, everything moves together, all works as one. So if I just move my hand up and down, and all I'm thinking is moving my hand up and down, there's no connection, I'm just doing a movement. If I move my hand, I'm really thinking about the connection through the joints, and then I'm timing it with my breath. I'm doing Paint the Fence from Karate Kid. Also Paint the Fence from Karate Kid. Either way, when you're moving, my awareness is there. I'm not just wiggling. My awareness is set. So you'll see that in a lot of martial arts. You're doing a lot of different moves and you're thinking about generating power to the fingertips. The reason for that isn't so you look cool and you can strike harder. It's so that you have, that's part of it, but the real meaning behind it is awareness. If I can have awareness of the energy traveling to the tip of my finger, then it means I can put it to the knuckle, the fist, the back of the hand, the elbow, the shoulder, wherever I want it, because the awareness is there. I'm more connected and tuned in. So instead of throwing my arm, I'm throwing with my body, even in a seated position here. So the reason I'm using this as an example, because it's such a simple thing for you to do, just sit and move, paint the fence, and think, what's actually going on here? What's the connection? Where's, we do this in seminars, it's much easier when you can feel it, but you can feel it for yourself. When you're doing the movement, you're having to internally connect. You forget about the world around you and you just breathe in, breathe out, and just move with it. When you do something like that, the better you get at that, the easier it is for you just to do it in every day-to-day situation where you feel stressed, anxious, or your external environment is starting to affect your internal environment, your internal mood, everything that's going on within you. So start to think about having your own code, like paying attention to yourself, checking in with yourself, having your own belief system. So yes, listen to the things I'm saying and things that other people are saying, but take what resonates with you and sits with you and start to create your own warrior code. So I've wrote down here my 5 warrior code lines. So I do what I say I will do. So if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Simple. Second one, I am not my past. So I've made a lot of mistakes in my past, but they don't define me. I'll learn from them and move forward. I have made mistakes, but they do not define me. So that's number 3. So 2 and 3 well, they're all linked, but 2 and 3 are pretty close. 4, I act with purpose, not emotion. Again, when we act with emotion, we let external things affect our decisions. So instead of doing that, I know where I want to be, so I act with purpose and I move towards that. I show up for myself even when no one is watching. So I do forms by myself. I do my daily routine, my meditations, my journaling, my wee 20-minute mobility, my stretching. I do all of those things by myself, even if no one's watching, even if I'm not doing it for social media, I still do it all the time. I actually put a bonus down here. I protect what I love without apology. So that goes for myself and the people and the martial arts that I do and the message that I teach. I protect it all without apology. I'm not going to change my core beliefs just to make you feel more comfortable. So I have my code and I stick to my code, and it just becomes embodied in you. You don't really have to think about living your code. The more you just do it, the more that's just who you are and how you live and spend your life. So I want you to do an environment audit. So these are the 2 challenges that I want you to look at this week. So just go into your environment, ground yourself, just feel, how does it feel? Like the place you spend a lot of time. So I spend a lot of time in this office, so it needs to feel chilled when I'm in here. So audit your environment, just look around, just see what's cluttered, what needs to be moved, how you actually feel in the space you spend a lot of time in, and then what you can do to make that space better. So I don't just sit on this now and go, well, this is the best way this is going to look. I try to add to it or try to move things around. Like I have post-it notes all over the place, but I shuffle them about and move them so that I don't just get automatically used to them. They appear back in my mind again because I've changed the order of them. So audit your environment. Then we want to do the 48-hour challenge. So you're just going to train, meditate, and serve. So if you've done the work, this is your chance to prove it. If not, it's your chance to step up. So if you've been following the podcast and you've been implementing all of the things that we've been doing, now is your chance to prove it to yourself. Do some training, do some meditating, and then just try to serve people. So just be an actual leader, be a masculine leader. So try that out and then message me, let me know how you get on with those 2 things, and if you're stuck with any of them, how do I serve better, how do I train better, how do I meditate better, any of those things, just reach out to me. And I do have a free PDF that will help you get started. You can just reach out to me and ask for it as well. And the main thing I want you to take away from this episode is you aren't who you are. You don't have to be who you are. You can be who you want to become. And the way that you do that is you keep visualizing your future and acting as if. So you can call it manifesting, you can call it visualization, call it whatever you want, but acting as the person you want to become, understanding you're on a journey to get there, and when you get there, you're going to want to level up again. But once you start to focus in on that, it makes everything else much easier to do because you know it's all being done with purpose and it's all being done in a direction that you actually want to go in. So until the next time, have a super awesome day, whatever you get up to, and I'll speak to you again soon.